We are captivated by the stars, dedicating billions of dollars annually from both the US government and private entities to explore the cosmos. We construct immense telescopes to locate exoplanets light years distant and dispatch robots to traverse the crimson Martian dust, yearning for a single microbe, a trace of water, any indication that we are not alone. Our gaze is directed skyward, pursuing a second home. Yet, a burgeoning theory, whispered online and debated within intelligence circles, suggests this space race is a diversion, a misdirection. What if our upward gaze isn't for discovering something new, but rather to avert our eyes from what lies directly beneath us? 71% of our planet is covered by water. Despite this, we have accurately mapped the surfaces of the Moon and Mars with 100% precision, while less than 20% of our own ocean floor has been charted. Consider that. We possess more knowledge of a lifeless rock 200,000 meters away than the geography of our own world. Why? The official scientific explanation posits that it's simply too challenging. The pressure at the base of the Mariana Trench exceeds 8 tons per square inch, akin to an elephant standing on your thumb. It's an inhospitable, crushing, frigid abyss where electronics fail and light cannot penetrate. But is difficulty the sole reason? Or is there something else residing there? Over recent decades, peculiar anomalies have been detected by hydrophones originally intended for tracking Soviet submarines. Sounds mimicking biological patterns, yet too loud for whales. Structures appearing and then disappearing on sonar, and swift-moving objects defying the laws of physics, transitioning seamlessly from air to water without a splash, have all been recorded. Tonight, we will delve into this mystery. We will figuratively drain the oceans and illuminate the trenches, examining the rigorous science that redefined biology and the inexplicable phenomena that perturb the military. From the intense warmth of hydrothermal vents to the alleged hidden bases in the Antarctic ice, we welcome you to the world's depths. Be forewarned, once you witness what lurks below, the ocean may never appear the same again. To grasp this enigma, we must first confront the misconception we held for centuries. Before the 1950s, humanity operated under a mistaken belief that the ocean floor was a flat, featureless expanse, a muddy basin, a lifeless zone where ancient sediment settled and time stood still. The individual who shattered this illusion was neither a valiant captain nor a naval admiral. It was a woman, Marie Tharp, who wasn't even permitted aboard research vessels. A geologist at Columbia University, Marie, in the 1950s, faced prevailing superstition and sexism that barred women from ships, labeling them as bad luck. Consequently, Marie remained in the laboratory basement, processing raw sonar data transmitted by her colleague, Bruce Heezen. Day after day, she analyzed the sound pings rebounding off the sea floor, and with each passing day, she began to discern a pattern that defied existing understanding. Marie realized that the Atlantic Ocean was not flat. It was bisected by a mountain range, the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, a formation longer than the combined lengths of the Rockies, Andes, and Himalayas. Yet, the most alarming feature was a deep, V-shaped rift valley at the center of these mountains, a profound fissure in the planet's surface. Marie concluded that the Earth was undergoing a process of separation, with new crust emerging from the mantle and driving the continents apart. When she presented her findings to Bruce Heezen, he dismissed them as girl talk, as the concept of moving continents was then considered scientific heresy. Nevertheless, the map undeniably supported her observations. Marie Tharp had uncovered the fundamental divisions of the world, proving that the ocean floor was not merely a graveyard, but a dynamic factory. This revelation paved the way for the inaugural expedition into the Rift, an exploration in 1977 that would unveil something that contravened every established biological principle known to us. In 1977, geologists Jack Corliss and Robert Ballard descended into the Galapagos Rift aboard the submersible Alvin. Their mission was purely geological, seeking warm water emanating from the Earth's crust. They anticipated finding only rocks. At 8,000 feet, the world was utterly dark, the water near freezing, and the pressure immense. In such an environment, life was believed to be impossible. Perhaps a solitary sponge or a disoriented deep-sea cucumber, but nothing more. Then, the pilot activated the exterior floodlights. Absolute silence enveloped the submarine, followed by uproar. They were not observing rocks. They were gazing upon a metropolis. Thousands of colossal clams, shimmering white crabs, and peculiar 6-foot-tall worms, devoid of eyes, mouths, or stomachs, swayed in the current like fields of grain. They had discovered black smokers, hydrothermal vents expelling water at 750 degrees Fahrenheit. The water was so hot it could melt lead, yet due to the extreme pressure, it did not boil. It was saturated with corrosive sulfides and heavy metals. This discovery revolutionized everything. Until that moment, we believed the sun was the progenitor of all life, with photosynthesis being the solitary method for energy generation. But here, in the perpetual darkness, life had discovered an alternative pathway: chemosynthesis. These organisms subsisted on the chemical energy of the earth itself. They required neither the sun nor us. They comprised a completely autonomous biosphere, flourishing in conditions that would instantly prove fatal to a human. The ramifications were astounding. If life could thrive here, in the toxic, crushed darkness of the ocean floor, could it also exist in the subsurface oceans of Europa or Enceladus? While scientists celebrated these biological findings, others began to pose a different question. If life can conceal itself so perfectly down here, what else remains hidden? Science tells us what should be present, but sensors reveal what truly is, and sometimes these two accounts diverge. In the summer of 1997, the U.S. National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, was monitoring an array of underwater microphones known as SOSUS, originally designed to track Soviet nuclear submarines during the Cold War. These instruments are incredibly sensitive, capable of detecting a whale's song across an entire ocean. One particular day, the sensors picked up a sound originating from the remote South Pacific, off the coast of Chile. It was ultra-low frequency, potent, and organic. They named it the bloop. The sound profile mimicked that of a living creature, rising rapidly in frequency before trailing off, a characteristic of a biological vocalization. However, there was a significant issue. Based on the distance between the microphones that recorded it, over 3,000 meters apart, the creature producing this sound would have to be colossal. A blue whale, the largest known animal to have ever lived on Earth, grows to 100 feet long. To generate a sound of this magnitude, the source of the bloop would need to be at least 3 times the size of a blue whale. NOAA eventually released an official explanation, asserting that the sound was consistent with an ice quake, a massive iceberg fracturing and detaching from the Antarctic shelf. Case closed, perhaps. But sound engineers and cryptozoologists noted that ice cracking typically produces a percussive, shattering noise, whereas the bloop exhibited the undulating qualities of a voice. And it wasn't the only such occurrence. There was Julia and train, unidentified sounds reverberating through the abyss, recorded by the military, labelled as unknown, and subsequently filed away. Is the ocean floor truly uninhabited, or are there leviathans dwelling there, ancient remnants of a prehistoric era, moving silently through the trenches, safeguarded by the immense pressure that keeps us at bay? We assume we are the apex predators of this planet, but in the deep, we are merely intruders. If giant monsters seem too fictitious, let's consider something verified by the Pentagon. We are all familiar with UFOs, unidentified flying objects. However, in naval intelligence circles, there is a phenomenon deemed even more alarming. USOs. Unidentified submerged objects. In 2019, leaked footage from the USS Omaha depicted a spherical craft hovering above the ocean. It did not land or float. It splashed down and vanished beneath the waves. But here's the impossible part. Sonar tracked these objects moving underwater at speeds of hundreds of knots. Water is approximately 800 times denser than air. Traveling through it at high speed demands enormous energy and generates immense friction. A human submarine moving at such velocities would disintegrate or produce a heat signature visible from space. Yet these objects move silently, without a wake, a sonic boom, or thermal exhaust. This has given rise to one of the most contentious theories of modern times, the underwater base hypothesis. Proponents of this theory contend that the preoccupation with space aliens is misplaced. They are not descending from the sky, they are emerging from the ocean. Consider this. If you were an advanced civilization observing Earth, where would you conceal yourselves? Not on land, where satellites monitor everything. You would hide in the ocean trenches, affording privacy, unlimited geothermal energy, and a natural aquatic shield that obstructs most human senses. Are these USOs unmanned drones from a foreign superpower? Or have we been sharing this planet with an unknown neighbor? The US Navy remains silent on these inquiries, but the encounters are escalating. Let's step back from the brink of conspiracy and examine a reality that is scientifically proven, yet equally unsettling. In the year 2000, scientists exploring the Atlantis Massif in the mid-Atlantic stumbled upon what appeared to be ruins. They had discovered a lost city. Unlike the violent black smokers identified in 1977, these vents were tranquil. They were towering white cathedrals of limestone, some reaching the height of a 20-story building. This formation is not volcanic. This process, known as serpentinization, is a chemical reaction between seawater and mantle rock. The aqueous discharge emanating from these structures is highly alkaline, possessing warmth and generating hydrogen and methane, which are fundamental constituents for life. Contemporary biologists now posit that the lost city represents the closest earthly analogue to the Garden of Eden. It is highly probable that terrestrial life originated in an environment precisely like this approximately 4 billion years ago. The minute geological apertures within the rock served as primordial cellular structures, safeguarding delicate chemical processes until they had adequately developed to transition from their rocky confines. However, the significance of this discovery extends further. Literally, research vessels such as the JES Resolution have drilled kilometers into the seabed rock, anticipating sterile geological formations. Instead, they uncovered the deep biosphere, a vibrant subsurface ecosystem. These rocks harbor microbial life several kilometers beneath the Earth's crust. Their reproductive cycle spans a millennium, indicating an existence governed by geological timescales. Researchers estimate that the total biomass within this concealed subterranean realm could surpass the combined mass of all human life on the planet's surface. We literally tread upon the cover of a world teeming with unseen life. If organisms can thrive within solid rock, entombed in perpetual darkness, then the parameters of habitability are boundless. Humanity is an inquisitive species, driven by a desire to comprehend what lies beyond the next elevation or on a distant celestial body. Yet, we possess a significant oversight. We gaze at the distant horizon from a shoreline, oblivious to the fact that the true frontier lies beneath our very feet. The ocean floor embodies a paradox. It is potentially the cradle of life, and simultaneously the dominion where cataclysmic forces can extinguish it. It is a location where profound scientific marvels, such as the deep biosphere, coexist with terrifying enigmas that military entities decline to address. Perhaps our cessation of deep-sea exploration was not due to insurmountable challenges, but rather because we encountered something that instilled fear. What are your thoughts? Are these perceived anomalies mere data aberrations? Or does this planet possess a historical narrative that has been obliterated and concealed within the oceanic abyss? The complete truth may forever elude us, yet one certainty prevails. The ocean's depths are profound, and they guard their mysteries exceptionally well.